Today on the channel, it's that time again as we say it's so hard to say goodbye, part 15.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for a continuing saga of one action figure collector. And I know a lot of you guys are in the same boat as I am, but it's so hard to say goodbye, part 15. Of course, the 15th installment, if you can believe that, here on the channel, is there's always things coming and going for people's collections. I think of myself as I don't have as much going as I have coming in, obviously, but I do sell some stuff from time to time, and I did get a couple of days off of work this week, which is very rare if you guys know my workload schedule, but I had to try to dive into my collection a little bit, make some room, move some stuff around, transfer some stuff, and try to get ahead on some videos. I got a pretty hectic travel a couple of months ahead of me, so I want to get ahead on some stuff the best I could, and a little bit of spring cleaning, I guess you could say, as we're currently in March as I'm filming this. And I saw a few things in my collection. I said, you know what, it's time for cutting the bait, cutting it go. It's time to go, time to move on, and we all come to that point where we have to decide those things in our own collections. And there's some things you know you're never going to sell, and there's some stuff that's on that peripheral vision. Maybe you really liked it at the time and you just kind of waned on it a little bit. That's where I'm at right here, and this is what I'm getting rid of today, and we're going to talk about it like we always do, and we're going to go through these as well. Of course, Patreon members, you're going to get first dibs at all these. That's part of the beauty of being a Patreon member. You get first dibs on all the items I do sell from my collection. But today we're going to talk about a collection that really started off pretty hot, kind of went dormant for a while, came back, and now we get a figure here every once in a blue moon. So really it almost feels like the line is done. There's not a lot of product coming out for this. There's nothing in the pipelines currently that's coming out. So to me, this is all but done, and I've said to myself, I don't need two of these collections. I'm not the hugest fan. This isn't my Mattel Elite collection I'm getting rid of, spoiler alert. But I said, this is just one of those ancillary shelves that move around. Do I really need this anymore? I could sell this stuff and I could put it towards some other things I'm looking at playing a little of that long game on, some big boy purchases, and I could cut my losses and not feel so bad at the end of the day. And of course, before you ever cut your losses and you move on to something, man, I always recommend sleeping on it a couple of days, because nothing worse than having regrets. Like I always say, we'll do the part 0 one of these days where I talk about my childhood toys. One of probably the biggest regret of my life. And I always say, if that's your biggest regret, you got a pretty good life. But still, it was a disappointing time all these years later, and we'll talk about that eventually. But what are we talking about today? What is leaving my collection? Well, we got to say goodbye to my old friend Todd McFarlane. Todd and I have been through a lot over the years, going all the way back to the 90s with Spawn #1, Spawn figures, all the way up to the current Spawn DC, and Mortal Kombat figures. Yes, you heard it right. What's going away? Well, we're getting rid of the Mortal Kombat Spawn, or I should say Mortal Kombat McFarlane Toys figures. That is what we're saying, so it's so hard to say goodbye to. A line that started off very interesting and kind of had some ebbs and flows. Some okay figures, some great figures, all points in between. The biggest gripe I had, and a lot of collectors have had, is I think a lot of fans of Mortal Kombat, especially the non-hardcore fans, the average everyday Joe fans, they wanted Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3 styled figures. He didn't quite give us that. He gave us some more recent video game adaptions, some different versions, but we didn't get those classic characters, kind of like what Storm Collectibles is bringing us. And that's what I've said. I'm going to sell my Mortal Kombat McFarlane Toys collection, and I will continue to dabble in the Storm ones for now, as those figures are more of what I think of when I close my eyes and I think of Mortal Kombat, and I think back to my high school days playing at the old arcade. That's what I think of. So it wasn't that hard of a decision for me. It does free up one shelf of my collection, which honestly I think I'm going to be filling with McFarlane DC figures. As you guys have seen, I've had an uptick in those purchases lately. This will hold in a shelf. I can start putting some of those in there, and that's what I'm going to do. But what do we have to get rid of? Let's go through the collection here. We of course got Sub-Zero, one of the many variants of Sub-Zero over the years from McFarlane. We got another Sub-Zero, one of the coolest ones, the translucent version of Sub-Zero. This is one that's worth a pretty penny out there, but a very, very nice looking one of Sub-Zero. Really like that one. Then we continue on with another variant of Sub-Zero, because why wouldn't you have a purple Sub-Zero as well? So we have that. How about, what was his name? Cabal, one of the more recent versions here, of course, from McFarlane Toys. We got Cabal right there, looking really nice. We continue on with another fairly recent one. We got Nightwolf. Love the translucent axes on him. Nightwolf, we're saying goodbye to you as well. It hurts. Of course, you can't have Sub-Zero without some Scorpions, and we got Scorpion right here. And we got another Scorpion right here. Got to have a couple of Scorpions in the collection, so we got those two. And we continue on with a little Liu Kang. Oh, yeah, one of the favorites of the Mortal Kombat franchise, of course, right there. We got Noob Sabat. Can't forget about him as well. We get Baraka, probably my all-time favorite guy to play as. When he came out back in Mortal Kombat 2, absolute game changer. Love Baraka right there. We got, what is this? I was going to say Melina, but that's not right. Now I'm drawing a blank. Katara, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, but we got her right here. We got another Liu Kang right there. Another one. You got to have multiple Liu Kangs, because why not, of course. Shao Kahn, an all-timer as well. We got him part of the collection. The Joker or the Batman who laughs. We got him right here as well. Continuing on. Gotta have Raiden, God of Thunder. Looking good. And then the final piece of the puzzle would be Cabal. Cabal is right here. I do have Johnny Cage, but man, I love that Johnny Cage figure. So as of right now, I'm going to hold on to that one. Going to maybe put him on a miscellaneous shelf or something like that. But it's time to cut my losses on these. I don't think I'm going to regret it down the line. It kind of is what it is. It was a cool collection. It still are very cool figures. I like what they're doing here. If you're all in on Mortal Kombat, I could see you being all in on these guys. But to me, you guys know I have a lot of stuff in my collections. Sometimes you got to cut and run, and this is really one of the bottom tier collections, kind of an ancillary collection, one that I don't rush out for. It is cool for what it was. It was cool for the time, but it can't stay here. It's got to go, you know. Doesn't have to go home, but it can't stay here, as I do say on some of these videos as well. But a very fun collection. Hopefully someone else will get the enjoyment out of it, and that's kind of the beauty of things like this. Passing it on to another collector that will find the enjoyment in something like this. So Patreon members, you guys know you get first dibs on all these things. So if you're a Patreon member, man, jump on that if you were interested. After that, we'll figure out. We'll go to Toy Store, eBay, who knows where it'll go. But Mortal Kombat, sorry to see you. We had our fun. It's time. I'm all out of quarters. How about that? I'm all out of quarters. So there you go. So there it is. It's so hard to say goodbye. Part 15, Mortal Kombat edition. What are you guys getting rid of? What's leaving your collection now? Do you come and go with stuff? Are you a buyer and a seller, or a person that flips stuff all the time? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. You might as well like this video. Give a like for these guys. They did their tour of duty. Give them the old thumbs up. Of course, hit the old notification bell. And reminder, Patreon, first access to this among many other benefits. And you also support the channel and all the content. And then don't forget about social media. SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Mortal Kombat, and it's so hard to say goodbye, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.